All right. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Welcome to the ONG Strike Zone. Brian Fulford, Marcus Green, Kelvin Rozier. It's good to be on with you, brothers. How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm gonna let the special guest go first.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Special guest Marcus Green rejoins the show. Good to see you, Marcus. How you been?
Man, well, I took my test. We'll see how things turn out. But all in all,
There's a
still
deep
good.
pause there, Marcus.
It was a lot.
Well,
But-
Marcus being humble. He aced it like he does everything, like the rattler he is. He's been modest, but I still don't. He still not excused for missing about 3 shows in the last 5.
Well,
I still got a hazing.
Yeah, boy.
Well deserved.
You and Mike Washington. You and Mike Washington on assignment, boy. I tell you what,
I
boy,
know.
Marcus.
I know.
Busy
I'm
coach.
trying to get back in the regular mix.
Well, we definitely missed you. We tried to hold it down as best as we could.
Oh, great job.
Absolutely, man.
I caught the show last week. That was a great show. Well, I caught it on replay. I had to listen to it like over the course of 2 days.
Yeah, a lot of people do. A great conversation, of course, with B Dot. I did clip it, and I'll put it on our YouTube page for anybody that missed last week's show or missed our interview with the new voice of Bragg. So a great conversation. So hopefully everybody enjoyed it, and I'm just giving everybody a heads up now in case there's any issues with my signal. Knock on wood. Hopefully everything stays going well, but Spectrum, yeah, exactly. No telling. I had to do the show from a.
Uh-oh.
See, I already started on you.
Yeah, I know. You looking like what was that in Ant-Man and Wasp? The young lady who's disappearing.
Yeah, I'm drunk now looking at you. I feel tipsy. You blurry.
I could go. Let me see. Let me see. How's the audio? Does the audio sound good at least?
Yeah. You good now.
All right. Well, I mean, worst case, I could go without the cam. I don't know. Maybe the cam is not is detracting, so I could go with just a singular icon. You guys let me know.
Man, let's roll, man. We finna do it,
That's
rattler
right.
style, man. We finna improvise, baby.
All right, coming up on today's show, we got a loaded show, full guest lineup. Again, this time we do have guaranteed, confirmed, right, Marcus? Confirmed on our first guest before I say it.
Wow.
He gave me a heart or favorites on the link, so I'm hoping everything's good.
All right. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we've got former FAMU wide receiver / NFL / CFL wide receiver Kevin Elliott will be joining the show. And then at the top of hour 2, we get our first conversation with head men's basketball coach, Coach Pat Crarey II, our new ball coach as the season. They got media days coming up next Wednesday in Atlanta. And so I know he made his debut last week on or at the 220 Quarterback Club. And so we get to kind of have a deeper conversation with him. So you guys go ahead and get your questions and everything like that. And then in hour number, at the bottom of hour 2, our head volleyball coach, Coach Gokhan, Yilmax, will be joining the show. How about the Lady Rattlers? I think we ought to start there. The Lady Rattlers.
Agreed.
What's the phrase, Kelvin? What's the name of the show and what's the phrase? The phrase that pays.
No losses in Lawson.
NLIL, right? Hashtag no losses in Lawson, right? Or as our good friend Coach Dominique said, the Get Our Ring Back tour is on. It's on and popping. As the Lady Rattlers were on a 4-game homestand last week and took care of business. Took care of business last week. So we'll talk. We're going to start the show with them. But before we do that, we always like to start the show by saying hello to the family that's in the chat room. So we'll kind of do a little roll call here for a few minutes, and then we'll get into some of the meat of the show. How's that? Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up and the like button wherever and however you're watching us. There you go. You might be watching us on Facebook via the Black College Sports Network or the ONG StrikeZone. You might be watching us on YouTube on the Jericho Broadcast Network's YouTube page at MyJBN Online, or you're watching us on the ONG StrikeZone YouTube page. You might be watching us on X. Say hello to the X family. And we say hello to those on Instagram Live. I think I saw, hold on, who did I see on Instagram Live that normally is in the chat room? Hold on, where is it at? Edwin Moore joining us on Instagram Live from the DFW. And so that's just the power of all these platforms that we are on. And, obviously we're also on Niche Network, mybcsn.net if you're on the internet. And you can always watch us there too to support the show. All right. And there you see at the bottom of the screen, you can donate some change into the collection plate. Cash App, $MyJBN, MyBCSN is where you can always make a donation. Those of you on YouTube, go ahead and you can do a super chat as well. You can drop a penny in the bucket for the good brothers as we kind of keep this thing rolling. All right, let me go through the roll call here. Who we got?
Now, Bryan, when you get to the end, I want to do some shout outs for folks that I met at the Me XWAC Challenge since I've been gone away for so long.
Oh, well, go ahead and shout them out early. Go ahead and get them in early. Yeah, man. Go ahead and get the shout outs in while you on mine.
All right, I heard Kelvin do it last week, but B. Janelle, we met her at the Bullpen Barbecue, and I believe her friend Naomi. I believe it was Naomi. And I got a chance to meet Jamie Walker in the press box and a few other folks, and actually saw Miss Suggs, Angela Suggs, when we were leaving. And I didn't recognize her. She had long hair. I'm used to the shortcut. And I had on the shirt. And she's like, ONG StrikeZone, you guys interviewed my daughter. And I was like, and it took me a second. And then right then the elevator doors are closed. So I didn't even get a chance. I was like, oh, man. And I guess you were roommates, Bryan, with.
Yes, her husband and I, we were roommates.
Okay.
Right.
He mentioned he saw the shirt. He saw the shirt, and I was like, yes. Bryan Fulford? And I was like, yeah, we're in OG StrikeZone. He's like, oh, okay. All right. And, just a few other folks. I did see Ty Floyd. I didn't get a chance to talk to her. Met Stan Beckton. Actually got to meet Gerald. So I want to give a shout out to Gerald, after exchanging DMs and everything else being on the show. Finally got a chance to meet him. So it was great to see everybody in Atlanta. It's been a couple weeks, but to make sure I want to give shout outs to all the folks that I met. If I missed anybody that I happen to have met, charge it to my head and not my heart.
See what happens, Marcus, when you get out of the cold Northeast and come on back down South, man. You start running into all kinds of folks.
Yeah.
We got to get you on more road trips.
Most definitely.
Yeah. All right. Roll call time. There we go. Right off the bat.
J-Man.
Coming off the top ropes. Yeah. I love Stan, but boy, that poll was something else, wasn't it? I can't even explain it. Haven't had a chance to hear from Stan, so I'd always like to let people defend their decisions. But boy, definitely, if you don't know, don't worry about it. If you don't know what we're talking about, don't worry about it. Bull checking in. Good to see you, Bull. Thanks for coming in. Yeah. Kelvin saying hello to everybody.
What's up? Ken.
Ken checking in. You Ken. Checking in. Meredith.
What's up, Meredith?
Meredith. Thank you, Gene. Jen, for appreciate you, Meredith.
Oh.
Mary 305. What's
Mary
up, Mary? How
305
you
is in the building.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Auntie. Gail.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, Bryan. You're not coming through, man. You just click on it and I'll give it a shout out. Hi, Tony Mathers. What's up, classmate? Watch JD TV. What's happening? Melissa Wilson. Hi.
Hey,
what's
Melissa.
happening? Zeke Love. What's happening? Thank you for watching. Demetra. Thank you for watching. What's up, Roy?
So, gentlemen, I'm going to jump in here to kind of help out. I was already on some duty today.
Oh, boy.
I'm trying to get Bryan to figure something else out to try because he doesn't realize that he keep roboting on everybody, man. You roboting on us, dude, so ain't nothing happening. So look at your text. Let's try that real quick. I'm going to be behind the scenes and let Kelvin and Marcus do what they do until you come back in.
You don't have to.
Bryan,
We can't even get it out.
How often do I jump in to say that you probably need a little help?
You don't even know that he's not on the air right now. See, this is too many people. Hey. This is what
Hey, Roy just wanted to get on air, but Bryan, you chopping up, man. We can't get you, bro. So
exactly, So
Kelvin,
right. Go ahead and take over. I'm gonna jump off camera.
I don't know what he's fucking about.
He need to listen.
Hey, and yes, this is the president and vice president. Yes, they talk like this all the time. This is nothing new.
All right, we'll take a break. Let's switch chairs. I'll come over.
Oh, executive decision was made.
Okay, all right.
I did not do that. That was his internet. That's why I wanted him to switch. Don't nobody think that I cut Bryan off. I did not cut him off.
Hey, Roy. Hey, boss man cut the other boss man off. Fight. It's a fight.
Look, y'all, we'll take a break. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, grab me one too.
Bryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app. As we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Choice Hotels is a family of brands that helps you get the most for your money so you can be any traveler you want to be.
You could be a free hot breakfast hero at a comfort hotel.
Yes!
That's how you waffle.
Mr. This script got a plot twist at a Radisson hotel.
A business big leaguer. Go for key. Even the ultimate pool float inflator.
With 22 brands and the best value for your money, Choice Hotels has a stay for any you. Book direct at choicehotels.com, where travels come true. Got to get the corners.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Kelvin, you're in charge.
All right. Well, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. That's Roy Evans, the president, CEO of the company. I am Kevin Rosa, and then we've got Marcus Green, a new guy, some guy we just met, who's been around, who just decided to come back after, 6 weeks. But anyway, just kidding. We thank y'all for watching the show. Please make sure you like the show. And we were doing shout outs. I'm going to try to get through the rest of the shout outs real quick. And then we're going to talk Bryan said volleyball, so we're going to talk some volleyball. So anyway, EA, I'm not going to let you talk about my friend Bryan like that, man. Stop it. But what's up, EA? Shako, them Duval Rattlers in the house. What's happening? Dr. Lori, hey, how you doing, Dr. Lori? Glad to see you in the house. Man in the chats. Marvin Allen, Duval in the house again. Ashley C, Fang Exchange, what's happening? Tamara T, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Jab, what's happening? One of my college partners, former Rattler football player. The Muck, what's happening, Jab? Let's see who else I got here. GT, Gerald Thomas, what's happening? Glad to have you in. G-Man on the beat, what's happening? I see you. Thank you for watching us. Keith, Fangs Up Podcast. What's up, cuz? What's happening? Mr. Campbell, how you doing, man? B Starks, thank you for joining the show. Who else we got? JT, what's happening? I see you. Thank you for joining the show. And Kerry Daniels, what's happening, Duval? Glad to have you. Bryan, you want to test your connection now? All right, make sure you ain't on mute.
Yeah, audio.
Make sure Roy ain't got you on mute. All right. While you getting it together, Marcus, we're gonna talk the FAMU volleyball.
Oh yes.
We had 4 games. We had 4 games last week at home, as Bryan was saying, and we started a hashtag actually before the home series started. No losses in Lawson, because the whole we don't lose and brag is a real thing, and it now it spent 4 or 5 seasons. So we decided we would try to push and get that kind of momentum in terms of defending the home turf in Lawson for right now, since it's volleyball season, but we hope to push it to basketball too. And I noticed that we'll have Coach on later, but I know that's one of the things he mentioned at the 220 club. So we beat 2 teams that had beat us last year in North Florida, University of North Florida, and Jacksonville University, both in Duval County. So we beat one in 5 sets, we beat the other one in 4 sets, and then we also beat Southern, and I forget the other team. Southern we swept.
Southern, New Orleans, and Jacksonville.
Okay. All right. There you go. How about that? All right. You coming in loud and clear, Bryan. All right. Go ahead and talk about the games.
Oh no, you got it. You were doing a great job. I mean, because I never know how long my connection will last. So I was just
it was a good showing though. Because then, like Kevin said, we beat two teams that last year we took L's to. I mean, we were close, but teams that we lost to. And so I'm hoping that this is boding well for this team in terms of the overall talent, the experience that we get over that hump. We played Georgia State really close as well. We lost 3-1. I think you guys mentioned that last week. And I think each game, I think we won I have to go back and look. I think we won the first game, and then the remaining games were very, very close. We could have very easily have won at Georgia State as well, beat them in their tournament as the host for their tournament. So it's looking good, our non-conference record. And I think we have a couple tournaments coming up. I know we have one in Louisiana. I think McNeese State. It's either McNeese State or Nichols or one of the Louisiana mid-major programs.
McNeese State.
Well, we're going there and playing. So, as once again, we can talk with Coach about it a little bit later when he comes on. But so far, so good on the non-conference schedule.
Also, I'll just add that in terms of the SWAC play, I went and looked at the other teams. The SWAC does have some other out-of-conference wins outside of us. Some of them are lower levels, and then some have a couple of same level Division I wins. But the next closest team, is a couple of teams with 3 wins. They're 3-4. We're at 5-2 overall. So we're in terms of wins, we have the most wins, of course, the least losses. There's 3 teams that have no wins, and there's 3 other teams that have only 1 win in the out of conference part of the schedule so far. So, Coach talked about this being one of his better teams, deeper teams. He mentioned that they can go about 15 deep. We had 2 players that were SWAC players, co-players of the week for last week.
Yep.
So a lot of positives going on. Getting off to a good start, and hopefully we'll keep it rolling. I think Coach mentioned that I had a chance to go by the 220 Club today since they moved to a location that was right next to the job, so I was able to peek my head in real quick. And so I know there's some things Coach will talk about that he's going to pitch in terms of us supporting his program so that he can go to the next level, and it's going to center around in NIL opportunities. So I'm glad Ashley and Coach Campbell and some of those guys are on the show, watching the show tonight, because I think he's looking for some assistance in establishing some NILs with some of his players so he can push our program to the next level. But Bryan, go ahead and chime in here on volleyball.
Yeah, you mentioned that we had 2 SWAC players of the week from this past week, obviously going 4-0. We had Brooklyn Watts and Brooklyn Thomas receiving honors for player of the week. Actually, Watts was co-offensive player of the week, and Thomas was newcomer of the week. So Brooklyn Watts, and that's Brooklyn, that's 2 words, Brooklyn Watts, delivered an impressive performance versus North Florida, Southern, New Orleans, and Jacksonville, recording a team-high 60 points behind 50 kills, 9 service aces, 2 assisted blocks. The senior contributed 17 kills and 14 digs in the match against North Florida, and tallied 4 service aces against Jacksonville, which currently ties for second most in a 4-set match in the SWAC this season. Of course, SWAC season is just 2 weeks old, but it's a good start. Mm-hmm. Then we have Brooklyn Thomas. Brooklyn as in one word, one name, Brooklyn. And it's funny, they spell it the same. Both spelled the same, but we have Brooklyn, one word, and Brooklyn, 2 words. So this is Brooklyn Thomas, a middle blocker, grad student from, I think it's pronounced Blythewood, or is it Blithwood?
South Carolina.
Mm-hmm. South Carolina, yeah, went to Winthrop. Yeah. She led the team with 53 kills, adding 10 blocks, 9 assisted with 11 digs. She notched a team-high 20 kills in matches against Jacksonville and North Florida, with those totals respectively ranking 1st in a 4-set match, and second in a 3-set match on the SWAC's 2024 performance list. Excuse me. So one of the things that, now AD Drew was at these matches, and one of the things he told me, and I don't know if you were there, Kelvin, but what he told me is, obviously, we know we had Jada Rose, the returning SWAC Offensive Player of the Year. So what Drew told me, and we'll talk to Coach Gokhan about this, is he pretty much has Brooke, Jada, and Brooke kind of on the floor at the same time. And they just kind of rotate around. Brooke Lynn is on one side, Jada's on the other. And I guess depending upon which one of the two are on the back row, Brooklyn Thomas, she comes in and fills in. I mean, so it's like we're killing it right now with 3 outstanding hitters. And so I'd love to hear Coach's analysis on, how he keeps this rotation going, and just the rest of the pieces that need to fill in around it. So I'm super excited. The ladies are 5-2 right now on the season. So Erie is giving me a phonetics definition.
Blythewood.
No, I think it's Blythewood. Blythewood? Blythewood? I don't know.
No, don't get too fancy now. It's not it's not tomato.
Yeah,
it's Blythewood.
Raising your finger when you're drinking your tea.
Yeah. That's
Blythewood.
Yeah, that's that Christian
right.
school you work at coming out.
All right, let's do this. Let's take our first planned break of the show, because coming up we've got I'm hoping my producer's hearing this, because I don't know where the producer is, but our first planned break we've coming up, and we've got Kevin Elliott coming up on the other side. So let's get ready to step away for a short moment. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a minute, and we'll find out if I have to press the buttons or somebody else. Looks like it's going to be me. All right, now we'll be back in just a moment.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up message quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
This is Bryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show. All right, welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Bryan, Marcus, Kelvin, and joining us is former FAMU wide receiver, former NFL and CFL wide receiver, Kevin K.E. Elliott. Kevin, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining the show tonight.
Thank you, man. I appreciate y'all. I'm blessed, though. I'm glad to see y'all, boys. I'm glad we can make this happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Kevin, for people who might not be familiar, you were at FAMU, I believe from 09 to 12, correct?
07. I was class of 2007 in high school, and I redshirted my freshman year, so I played from 08 to 12. Yes, sir.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about your FAMU experience. How and why FAMU, and just how playing at FAMU kind of set you on your career path of finding time, finding some season.
Yeah, so I could just start off
Go ahead. You good? No, yeah, you good.
Yeah, so coming out of high school, man, I wasn't a really heavily recruited guy on the football side. I did play basketball and track. I feel like I had more track scholarships than football scholarships, but I was just a football player who did track, right? So FAMU offered that opportunity for me not only stay in Florida, but to do both football and track. So it was a blessing. I went on one visit. They took me to the set. I think JK was my host, and they showed us a good time, and I was like, "Where's the dotted line, man?" I think the DoubleTree cookies sold me too, man. Those cookies. But the guys that I came in with, we still have a group chat to this day, and I think that's one of the main things FAMU did for me was create that brotherhood when it comes to football and lifelong partners. We all grew up with each other. We always coming in FAMU. I feel like my whole class, we felt like we had a chip on our shoulder. We maybe felt like we should have been recruited higher or whatever it was. We came together as a collective group, and, that kind of showed the success on the field. And, coming from FAMU, and once I entered the draft process, you get to see how kind of all these other colleges were living, and, they had all the advanced medical supplies and just a lot of the things that we didn't have at FAM, which, now once I made it to my career, I was very thankful for my time at FAM because I felt like I was more appreciative of everything that I did get once I made it to that pro level. Like I've been balling without this, without all these perks. So now when I get here, man, I could still ball out and I have all this at my leisure now, just being a pro. So, I think that was the biggest thing that FAMU continue to instill in me because, I grew up from that background, from an Army background of, just working in discipline and working from the ground up. And basically, that's kind of how it's catapulted my career and ended up turning into a 9-year career.
Marcus, I'm going to let you start off with a question for KE.
Okay. All right, well, Mr. Elliott, thank you for coming on the show. I do want to ask, in terms of your professional experience, what advice would you give to any athlete, specifically at FAMU, but any athlete as it relates to your journey, what you learned, and what they could take advantage of?
Most definitely, especially athletes right now. If you're not planning on getting drafted in the first 2 rounds, you need to find you a special team right now. I feel like that allowed me to open the door even wider on my transition from college to the NFL. Totaling, I believe, is 30 tackles total, all on kickoff. And, that's one of the things the GM brought up to me, when we first talked. For one was he saw the film of me blocking some guy into the Gatorade cooler. And then he saw me run down on kickoff and make a tackle as well. So, if if you're not drafted in those first 3 rounds, you're going to play special teams. So you might as well find the special teams now, love it, learn the technique, and thrive at it, because you're going to have to do it at that next level. Also, make sure you got some good people around you. Make sure you got a great old lady who's speaking life into you and is wanting to build with you, not just wanting to be a bill. You know, my partner really was that for me. She was my crutch. My wife right now, she is my crutch, you know. So make sure you got good people around you, like-minded people. I surrounded myself with other folks that wanted to go and make it to the next level as well as me. You know, me and Tim's really spent a lot of time putting that work, and we put our 10,000 hours in. And that's what, you know, we exemplified that when the opportunity presented itself, we was ready. And you know, I would just say bet on yourself as well. You know, sometimes your parents can't see your dream. Sometimes other people can't see your dream. But if you really dream about this every day and you really put in the work in, sometimes you just got to go show them. And, you know, I live by that, and I'm continuing to do that now post career.
Oh, thank you.
So, Kevin, I saw recently where you, I think, earned your degree from FAMU after being away for a while. Talk about that and why that was important to you.
Yeah, that was, you know, outside of football, but and my mom, that was her main thing, was for me to graduate. My principal, who, you know, passed away, that was his main thing for me to graduate. You know, he would call me all the time and start off a little bit about football, and then like, when you going back to get your degree? So, you know, it was always on my mind to, you know, go back and finish that. And, you know, thankfully for the time I put in with the NFL, they paid for us to go back to our school up to our doctorate. And, you know, so Bryan Timms really opened my eyes to that. He's now in school to be a law student, all through the NFL. So imagine going through school with no student debt, you know. So it's amazing that circled back, full circle of us putting those 10,000 hours in and that work in. Now it's circled back, and they paid for me to go back to school. And I finished this past spring semester, man. It was amazing. It was a great accomplishment.
So talk about what's going on with you now, man. What you're doing, and talk about your family a little bit.
Yeah, so I wear many hats. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a friend, I'm a son. I have a mushroom coffee company that I run. We pretty much created the healthiest way to drink your coffee. We infuse mushrooms, so no crash, no jitters, helps with your metabolism. I'm really on my healthy journey at this moment. Since I retired, you know, it gets dark in that retirement, right? So, you know, major thing for me was reinventing myself and stepping out of my comfort zone. So now you can't just say Kevin Elliott, the football player. You have to say Kevin Elliott, the international runway model. You have to say Kevin Elliott, the entrepreneur. You have to say Kevin Elliott, the certified yoga instructor. You have to say Kevin Elliott, the coach, the trainer, the entrepreneur. You know, so I just been looking for different ways to reinvent myself. I've been modeling, like I said, which was completely out my comfort zone, but it's something I took and I made a lot of great relationships through. I coach, I train. I'm currently coaching at Boynton Beach High School, Lamar Jackson's old high school right now. So we got a game tomorrow. Just pouring my, you know, the energy I have left into these kids, man. They need it now more than ever. There's a lot of confusion out here, and there's a lot of talent, but not a lot of kids know how to work. So, you know, I see where it's funny. I look through my Instagram, and a lot of my former teammates are coaching around the country now. And it just seemed like it's our time to now interject into this community, which is why I've been so pressed to get back to FAMU, man, because I really walk those halls with the same halls they walking through. And I really have the blueprint, you know, whether you get drafted or not, on how to make it. And seeing guys like Zay, both Zays and Marquise and them boys in the league right now, that should even be more motivation for them to come back and really teach them what we're really signing up for, because you really don't know till you get there.
So you were able to go to the game, the UM game?
Yeah, I was there.
All right, and I know I saw you at the first home game. So just talk about this year's Rattler so far and what you see.
Yeah, I see a lot of talent. You know, of course, with the transfers, man, it's all about how they come together. I was blessed. I've been talking with a lot of my teammates now, man. I'm taking out the mud over NIL right now, because the guys that come in together and they build that brotherhood relationship, it looks different on the field when they're playing for each other. Outside of a lot of guys that came from different parts, now we have to gel together. Not saying, you know, we had Curtis Pulley, we had a lot of transfers, Patrick Scotts, but those guys bought into our system as well. You know, we already had a system running there, you know, so I think the guys are buying in. I'm not saying they're not. I like what I see on the field. I just, you know, those games with Miami, man, those are the games right there where we have to have the mindset of this is our film. That's how I treated it. These guys are always going to be getting looked at. If I get film on them right now, they're going to have to look at me, you know, and I think I wish I could have talked to the kids before the game, you know, kind of put that seed in their head. But, you know, I feel like we competed. I feel like we're going to sweep the rest of the season. I'll be looking forward to popping up out the games and continuing to show my support.
Okay. All right, Marcus, what you got?
You said something earlier that was really profound. And, you know, just speaking about your life experience and being able to reinvent yourself, and what lessons have you been able to transfer to some of the players that are under your charge? Because we know, you know, we live in just the generational divide, even not even generational, but just 5 years ago, there's like a different mentality between someone in my age group, someone in your age group, and then someone who's in high school now. How do you translate and relate to that age group and get a message across that perhaps they're not ready to receive or understand that they need to receive?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was just talking about this, you know, with my team. They really respond to me showing them. A lot of the times I go out there and run the routes with them. I do scout team quarterback. I do kick returns. I'm still active, you know, so they get to see it. And I'm not just coaching receivers. I'm coaching everybody because I paid attention, you know. And the thing nowadays, I have to continue to reinforce, nobody's going to give you anything. In this sport, you're going to have to go take somebody's job. When I got to the pro level, I had to take food off another grown man's plate. And you have to be prepared for that mentally. And also, it's a lot of negativity that we've been facing, that how they interact with each other. And it's a lot of selfishness. You know, sometimes making the play, you're not going to get the tackle in the backfield. But as a D tackle, you're going to push that O lineman into the backfield and stuff that play so your linebacker come through and make that tackle for loss. That's a win on film. You understand? So I think just really molding them and getting them back to the basics of football, because I think 7-on-7 is messing them up. There's a lot of bad habits being taught, a lot of bad habits by quarterbacks and receivers, depending on what team they're with. It's just a lot of these kids don't even watch football, which is even crazier to me. So, you know, it's just really just teaching them not only my experience of how I came up, because I was a guy with 0 stars in high school. So I'm not really privy to those excuses, you know, and the injuries. I had to fight through injuries. So, you know, I think it's just formulating the mindset of how it feels to work hard and then see how much more you have after that in the tank. Because a lot of these kids don't have to work. Like I said, there's a lot of talent, but a lot of kids don't know how to work. They get to a certain level and it's like, oh, I'm done. That's not how it's going to go in college. They're going to get every inch of out. They're going to get everything out of you. And if you're not built for that, you're not going to make it. And a lot of colleges aren't taking time to develop kids anymore. If you're not ready, we're going to the portal. So me and my good friend Deontay Thompson, we started a prime catcher camp this past summer, just developing the kids and sending them off to their high schools, their respective high schools, but really just developing them so they can go to the school already privied, and the head coach don't even have to go over certain things because I'm already talking football talk with you. A lot of the guys can't even talk football talk, you know, so it's like we got to get back to the basics, I feel like, and really just reinforcing it. I do blame a lot of on the parents as well. You know, the kids, when they're with me, they're on spick and span, but they're not being reinforced when they go home. What are you doing when you go home? Are you just scrolling just to scroll? What are you looking at? What does your algorithm look at? I look at a lot of the kids' Instagrams, and I got to go 10 swipes before I see football. You know, you're not obsessed with the game as you should be if you say you want to get to where you want to get to. So, you know, it's just continue to reinforce those kind of things that they didn't have to do for us. And at the same time, a lot of these kids are in a position where their parents can't pay for college. So to me, it's looking like you're comfortable with not changing your situation. Like we already had the mindset when I grew up that I want to change the situation. This is where I want to get to. We have to reteach that to these kids now, which is that gap you're talking about. And I don't know where it went, but that's the work we're doing right now as high school coaches in the nation for sure.
Well, let me follow up on that. Do you see your calling as staying at the high school and youth level, or do you have aspirations to get to the college level?
I have aspirations of getting to the college level. I'm actually in the running right now. I did the Bill Walsh diversity coaching for the NFL, and I'm also in the running for a scout for NFL scouting as well. I think on the scouting side, I would thrive better because I could reach more places. And not only can I scout the kids, but if I do like the kid, I could kind of tell him literally what you should be putting on film in order to get looked at, you know? So from that aspect and the mentorship aspect, I want to take that, you know, nationwide. I think the mentorship is better than everything at this point. Just having somebody they could call. You know, I got kids I coached 3-4 years ago in college now still call me. Coach, what you think about this route? What should I do? You know, so that right there is my touchdowns nowadays. You know, I have countless voice messages of guys like, Coach, that drill we worked this summer, I used it in the game and it worked. You know, those are my touchdowns now. So just looking to continue to build on that. But I do definitely have aspirations of climbing myself up the ladder for sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions from the chats. People want to know your time at FAMU specifically. And you can go to the NFL too, answer that one too. But, you know, your favorite game, your favorite moment as a player.
Oh, man, not too many moments better than when we beat Bethune and got that championship. But to say that, the Southern game was legendary. When we went to Southern, I think it was 56-52 to finish the final score. That was a legendary game. I think I had the most fun in a long time. That was a game right there. So I would have to definitely say that. And then NFL was just playing in my first game. So I never been to an NFL game prior to making it. So literally my first game playing was my first NFL game. So just soaking that in was definitely a dream come true for sure. My best moment.
Okay. Let me ask this. I know we're kind of pulling you away from teams playing to right now. Are you still a Bills fan? I see your jerseys hanging behind you.
Hey, listen, Bills Mafia, man, listen, that's probably one of the outside of fam. That's a crazy fan base, y'all. And listen, they don't forget their players. That's what they do up there is Bills Mafia. So I have a lot of love for Buffalo. I definitely have a lot of love for Jag Nation because they afforded me the opportunity to make my dream a reality. Unfortunately, you know, my time there was cut short, but Buffalo embraced me like I got drafted there. And I built a lot of great relationships that I'm still benefiting from now to this day.
How did you handle the cold? Because actually, when I graduated, fam, a long time before you did, my first job was in Buffalo, New York, coming out of school. And man, those winters ain't nothing to play with, boy.
At all. And I'm a Florida boy. You know, I went to college, high school, college, and Jacksonville. So everything, first three was in Florida. My first time up there, I had to drive in the snow, man. It was terrible. I was almost late to practice. Cars zooming by me, honking. I'm like, man, I slid one time, and that spooked me ever since. But then you get in the taxis and they drift in the car, you know, like they do that every day. So it definitely took me some months to adjust. I had to buy a whole new wardrobe, everything. And that snow, that lake effect is real with the snow, man. You know about it.
Yeah.
We come back from away games and we can't find our cars in the airport parking lot because so it's definitely an experience, man. Definitely.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was up there when I think Jamie Nails was up there. He had just got drafted by the Bills, so that was like the mid to late 90s. And yeah, it was
time to be there.
Baby, man, it was. I mean, September this time. If there was a home Bills game at this time of year, you could feel that wind off the lake. And it's like 40, 50 degrees. You're like, man, this is September. It's like September 21st. And it's like you starting to get chilly.
Crisp, nice and crisp.
Yeah, it is.
Still out there, no shirt.
I know. But yeah, the Bills Mafia is nothing to play with. I mean, they are die hard.
Yes, they are.
So you came to FAM from Orlando, right?
Yes, sir.
What school you played for high school?
Colonial High School on the east side.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I want you to kind of plug your you mentioned you got the coffee, the mushroom stuff. Just kind of plug some of your products and any websites you got, so that Rally Nation, we want to make sure that we support our athletes, former and current. So if you got some social media tags, your company, we'll put it back in the in our chats later. But yeah, just tell us how we can support you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Definitely. We definitely the mushroom coffee is on Instagram, Facebook. Our website is drinkmushroomcoffee.com. Just a little bit back history about that. I had my mom in mind a lot. She drinks coffee every day. And you drinking something is basically a ritual at this point. You're not getting any health benefits from it. So, we created the healthiest way to drink your coffee. We have pure Colombian coffee. We have a relationship. We're a fair trade company. So that means we have a relationship with our farmers in Colombia. And we infuse lion's mane, chaga, and cordyceps. Those three mushrooms right there they're the golden key right there. So you got one for metabolism, energy, and you got one for cognitive brain power and focus. You got one for stomach gut health. And they all combine to a beautiful recipe that we created. And it's instant coffee. So all you have to do is add hot or cold water. So just from that aspect, my mom and dad, I started off with them and they live by it now. And, they drink coffee every day, and it feels good on the healthy journey, man. I'm about 630 days right now, no meat as well. So I'm not just preaching this. I'm actually living this at the moment and bringing a lot of people with me as far as the health services go. But from that, that's pretty much it. Prime Catcher will be back up. And in the summer, we're looking to expand. I really want to get my hands on these college receivers, man, because I see a lot of just little things that I could just tweak, and really change their game and really have them understand what they're putting on film, because the film don't lie. You can't escape that, so really got to be really on top of them when it comes to that. So I'm gonna just continue my mentorship. I'll probably have a website and everything soon that I could send you guys, but I definitely appreciate the support, and hopefully we could get mushroom coffee through everybody's facility and everybody's house, so everybody could continue their health as well.
Hey, have you had a chance to talk to the coaches? Do you know some of the coaches on the current staff?
I do. Henry Burris, he was a legend CFL quarterback up there. When I first came to CFL, he was one of the guys I was, really watching and watching him win a Grey Cup up there, a champion. He's a great guy. I actually met the head coach at the they had a Rattler Boosters Club down here in Miami, and I came down here and spoke to the boosters and everybody that donated, and that was a part of that. And I feel like we built our relationship from there. I talked to Mike Smith the other day as well. I'm still in contact with Vaughn, so I got a lot of people up there. And I really want to get into, since I'm in South Florida, helping out on the recruiting space as well. So hopefully we can make that happen. We'll see.
Okay. Well, yeah, they just sent out something today about the coaches assigned to the area. So it looks like the DB coach Andre Pope and head coach Cozy are assigned to the Broward and Dade area. So
that'll be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be perfect.
All right. Before we let you go, man, two things. One, what is you want to say to Rattler Nation, man? And then two, any social media plugs you have. How can we follow you?
Yeah, you can follow me at Kevin KEV, the number 1 N _ the number 3 Elliott ELLIOTT, and then underscore as well. And Rattler Nation, man, I appreciate the love. Listen, I rep orange and green every day, the way I walk, the way I talk. Every kid that I touch knows that I went to FAMU. Every kid that I reach and I mentor knows that I went to FAMU. And you can make it from anywhere if you go to FAMU. So, I walk with that every day. I bleed orange and green. And I just appreciate, the unwavering love and support as always.
Man, thank you for giving us your time, man, coming on the show. Anytime you want to come back or you got new products or anything we can support, just reach out. Feel free to reach out, man. We're going to do that. And we're going to go to break. We've got our head basketball coach coming up next. This is the ONG StrikeZone. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
Bless up.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Couvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Couvée.
All right, welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Hopefully my audio's working. How am I sounding, everybody?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
All right, I had to find a parking lot with a bunch of lights just so I could be able to get in to do this. Joining us on the show right now is none other than our ball coach, our head ball coach, the new head ball coach of our FAMU men's basketball team, Coach Patrick Crarey II. Coach, what's good? How you doing?
Appreciate it, fellas. Thanks for having me on. I'm doing good. We're practicing now, so whenever we're practicing, excited to be out there with our guys.
Yes, indeed, man. It's good to see Rattler basketball back. I won't call you a gym rat. You're a gym guy. I know about you DC guys. You guys are as intense about basketball as my people in Indiana. Talk a little bit about your background, to give Rattler Nation a little background about you and kind of where you come from and just your love and passion for the game of basketball.
Yeah, well, I'm from the DMV area. So, I was born in DC, but I grew up in PG County and Montgomery County, Maryland. And if you guys don't know, like PG County is a small county, but per capita, our area sends the most players Division I basketball in the country. And so, we're always going to say we're the best. We got Kevin Elliott, we got a lot of great players, great coaches. And like I said, this the college football thing for me is new. So I'm excited to be a Rattler fan. I love my Rattler football, but like at home, it's all about basketball. I grew up with the Big East. My dad went to Georgetown. So just growing up in that area, my best friend is one of the high executives in the NBA. My other best friend is the head coach of George Mason. We all went to high school together. So I've been around the game. The funny thing is I'm a failure in my family. I said it before. My dad's a doctor. My mom's a therapist. My grandfather was a doctor. I just coach basketball. So, just coming from that area, it's what we do. It's what we love. It's what we love. So I've had a not just playing the game, but thinking the game from a very young age. They used to joke with me in high school that I was going to be a coach, and I just knew that. Just the way I thought the game and watched the games. My grandfather would stay up late nights watching Big East basketball. He was sneaking me out of my room when I was like 8 years old, supposed to be asleep. and I'm watching, Lavelle Moulton, Allen Iverson, Othello Harrington. Most people don't even know about these guys anymore, but it's big time from our area with basketball, and so I love representing the DMV every day.
All right, I can respect that. I have to do the numbers on those number of great players, compared to the state of Indiana. I have to do the math with you later.
You know about the numbers, Bryan. You know about the numbers.
Coach, I know. That's why I'm not going to challenge you right now about them. But talk a little bit about how you got into coaching. I mean, if people don't know, you're a young guy, and you're on the rise. I would like to say. So when you got into coaching, I mean, you were probably in your, I'm guessing, late 20s, when a lot of us are still trying to figure out what we want to do. So talk a little bit about that first coaching opportunity that you got and how you built upon that.
Well, I was actually playing. I was playing at Division III, Lawson University in Riverside, California. And one of my teammates was like, "Hey, we got an AAU team. They need some volunteer coaches." I was like, I want to say I was 19. I'm pretty sure I was 19. And I was like, "Y'all come." I'm coaching 8-year-olds shooting on the wrong basket. But it was fun. Listen, I'm going smack on these 8-year-olds too. Like, get to the rim. We got to win this game, And so from that, it just grew. I went from 8-year-olds to 9-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 16. And I went from 8-year-old to 12-year-old in one summer. And so, coaching that, then I ended up coaching with my old coach at La Sierra University. He brought me on as a student assistant my last year, last couple of years. So I worked with him there. Then I got with a high school team in the area as well. And then, I went home. I went home back to Maryland, and I was devastated leaving California. Like, nobody wants to leave California. And so, I got a call to coach back at Tacoma Academy, the high school I was. And at that time, 25, and so, I mean, I was a college coach at 22, 23. I was making $1,500. Early on, I made one year I made $1,500. All the other years I made nothing. And so, I was coaching 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And we're just, going to Vegas, going to tournaments. I just loved it. I mean, I was obsessed with it. At the same time, to me, it was a hobby. I never thought that I would be blessed to be able to make it my full-time job. But 1 year there, I went to Washington Adventist University to be the assistant AD. And the president said, I was there for 3 months, and the president said, "No way, you got to be the AD." So they transferred me from assistant to the AD, and I became the basketball coach there. And it was a program. I mean, if you want me to be honest, it was kind of like us right now. I mean, we're looking at, we hadn't had, at that time, it was 2010. We hadn't had a winning season since 1992. We had not won. We only won 10 games one time in that span. So, similar to Florida A&M, for the people that don't know, we haven't won a playoff game since 2012, a tournament game. We have not been to the NCAA tournament since 2007, the last time we had a winning season. So, things I talk to our players about every single day. And for me, I try to just keep it a stat, keep it a buck. Like, this is where we are. And so at that time with that group, it was the same thing at Washington Adventist. This is where we are. We're at the bottom, and that's okay. We're not at the bottom anymore. It starts today with the work that we put in, the attitude, how we carry ourselves. And that first year we won 10 games. We had a treacherous schedule. I started off 0-7, but there was a 4-point loss to Delaware State, 5-point loss to North Carolina Central, 3-point loss to John C. Smith, who was a CIAA champion. So we were right in games. We just had to learn how to finish. And I kind of knew after that first Delaware State game, I'm not going to lie to you, we were up by 4 with 2 minutes to go and lost. I was like, I probably know what I'm doing for real. Like that's when it kind of clicked. Like, oh, I might be all right. And so, just having that background, and I was there for 10 years, all-time winningest coach in the history of the school, over 100-plus wins. We ended up winning a conference championship, a national championship, like 421 seasons. Then I was blessed to go to St. Thomas University, wonderful, Miami Gardens. I love St. Thomas University. It was a great experience for me. So we're there 3 years, 3 winning seasons. The last 2 years, 20-plus wins. Set the school record in wins at Washington Adventist and St. Thomas University. Also won a regular season championship there and was in the Sweet 16, the highest they had ever gone in the national tournament. And then this last year, we hosted the national tournament for the first time. So, it was a good experience at St. Thomas. I feel like we could have done better. I think injuries kind of hurt us a little bit. I think, there's some things I could have done better, which I think is going to prepare me right now for what we're going to do at FAM this year.
Okay, Coach. So that's where I want to go next with my question. I want you to kind of talk about this year's team. What is the expectation, style of play, and when does camp start for you all?
Oh, we've been started. So we started that first week of school, and we got in there to kind of get us to going. Got in the weight room later in the week, and we have our hours now. Where we're allowed to go 4 hours of basketball and 4 hours of strength and conditioning. Shout out my man Cole, who's doing an excellent job with our team. Now, if you're asking me about what my expectation level is versus
absolutely yours,
my expectation level is to be, a very good team, very competitive in the SWAC. One of the top 4 or 5 teams in the SWAC, put us in position to first win a playoff game in the SWAC and to win a championship. Like, I didn't come here to say, oh, we're going to rebuild. Like, we're going to reload as fast as we possibly can and put ourselves in a position to be successful. And if I didn't think we could do that, I wouldn't have taken the job. I wouldn't have done some of the things that we've done in the few months that we've been here. So, my expectation level is to win the game. And we're playing TCU the first game of the season. People online, you guys are going to get this. I'm going to win the game. Like, I watched every single one of TCU's games. So, is it going to be a daunting test? Absolutely. But, my expectation level for us is to be a highly competitive team in the SWAC and to put our name so they remember, who we are, not just from a football standpoint or a volleyball standpoint or a softball standpoint, basketball, FAMU, we're here. So that's my expectation level for the program.
What do you think about your team? And, talk about some of the guys you brought in.
Brought in a lot of guys. So I like my team. They're built for the style of play that we like. If you look at it, just Caleb Washington. I don't know if you guys know, both of his parents went to FAM. So he was actually born in Tallahassee. So Caleb Washington is 6'9" wing, ultra athletic, but very skilled, can shoot the ball. Didn't shoot the ball great at Butler. I thought it might have been a mechanical issue. It really was just shot selection. He's been fabulous for us in camp. Milton Matthews is my kid, led the NAI in threes last year, was second the year before. I love Trey. I love Sterling Young, who's a really big shooter, coming from the American Conference. And then the new guy we got, I'm going to tell y'all right now, Jacoby Hendricks, oh my goodness, knows how to play, can shoot the ball, averaged 24 points a game last year, shot 44% from the three-point line. Tyler Shirley, 6'8", long wing, aggressive 3-and-D guy. We don't play anybody 1 through 4 who can't shoot. So if you went through like the lowest percentage guy, would probably be Rod Coffey that comes back in terms of percentages. And I think Rod's percentages will increase this year just in terms of him knowing where his shots are coming from. And Rod's I think Rod's really good too. 67 assists, 27 turnovers at 6'4" guard who can defend, long, tough, smart. So I don't want to miss any of my guys, but I'm sure I probably have. Shakir, I like Shakir a lot. I thought Shakir was very skilled. I thought he played for statistically the best program in the SWAC for the last 7-8 years. And so he played for a great coach. He's a really, really big time athlete. So I think we have the pieces to play the way that I would like us to play. And I want to be clear with this though. It's not just the way I want to play, but it's the way that everybody wants to play that's trying to win at a super high level in terms of professional basketball. And so our guys want to play on the professional level. I hope one day to be coaching on the professional level. And so we're going to bring that right now.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Marcus.
Hey, Coach, thank you for coming on. Actually, I have a slew of questions for you, but I know I won't get to them all tonight. But my first one kind of ties in a little bit of what you just said a few minutes ago, and also a little tie back to your appearance at the 220 QB Club. In terms of, I guess, the basketball, it sounds as though that you are highly invested in, they say, the analytical approach as it relates to basketball. And I know that you believe it'll lead to winning, or else you wouldn't be doing it. But how do you think it'll be embraced in an HBCU culture that kind of views basketball from a traditional prism and not really the analytical aspects? How much of an embracement do you expect, or will you think it'll bring about?
I think they embrace winning. You know, and I think as long as it leads to winning, they're going to embrace our style of play, and it's fun. Like, you don't want to come to the game and watch somebody run 18 plays, slow down, pass, hit somebody, come back out. You don't want to see that. You want to see us getting up and down the court, shooting an early three, getting it 2 feet, getting the ball, kicking it out, extra one more pass. You want to see a dunk from a lob because nobody can help from the weak side corner because the guy hit 2 threes in the last 2 possessions. Like, that's what you want to see. So you want to hear us saying boom every time somebody makes a 3, and you want to play. You want to see an exciting style of play. So I think that they're going to embrace it. I think I've had quite a welcome since I've gotten here right now, and I think just been seeing us play, seeing the product we put on the court, how we play, how we carry ourselves, the confidence that we portray, the work ethic that we have. Our confidence is going to come from our work. That's where mine comes from, and so I think they're going to embrace it. I really do. I think that I kind of fit FAM. I don't think they know that. I hope they kind of find it out quick. But I think I kind of fit it. It kind of just fits me in terms of my personality, how we carry things, and how we want to approach ourselves this season. Okay.
And quick follow-up, and it's probably related to the answer you just gave, so it might be the same answer. But coming from PG County, DMV, and other places where it's basketball centric, and even though you're at St. Thomas for 3 years, what's it like coming to a region that is so college football focused, and where the majority of your experience in growing up was mainly basketball in the Atlantic and everything else, and growing up in the footprint of the Big East and the shadow of Georgetown? How is it coming into a different type of paradigm, if you will, in terms of the emphasis on college football?
Y'all want the real answer, or you want like the political, like, let me try to say
No. We keep it real here.
Okay, well, they've talked about me just as much as Cozy since I got here, so I haven't even really felt it yet. All the pressings that I've been in since I've gotten the job for the last 3 months. So honestly, I haven't really felt it. I did feel it when everybody was coming in for the first home game and seeing the difference. I did feel it when I was at the NAA and I saw like Cozy like grabbing them, taking pictures. I said, this is nuts. But I've learned a lot from Cozy. Just conversations with him. He's a good friend of mine. Me and him being able to talk about different things that a lot of other people can't relate to. Specifically, just let me just say a lot of things other people can't relate to. So, right. It's been different, but I like it. I definitely like it.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm just wondering in terms of like, having grown up down south, of course I'm a few years older, a lot more than a few years older than you, but that's down south, the emphasis is like really slanted towards football, and just wondering how we can get the culture that engrossed, maybe not to the same level, but at least to some degree in basketball.
We got to win some games.
Yeah.
I mean, we're at a 10,000 seat arena for 10,000 students. So the math ain't mathing there. So like, we got to win some games. We got to get out in the community. We got to play good. We got to have people want to come, and and I don't expect people to come early until they kind of see what the product is. And I want fans. I don't want people that are there just to be cute and talk to each other. So we would like a rowdy environment here, and I think we can get there.
Yep.
I would like to get there as fast as possible. I'm going to do my job to make sure we put ourselves in position to be embraced by the school and be embraced by the student body.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach.
Hey, Coach. Okay, so if I recall early on, we talked about the first set of guys that you brought in, and that many of them had not even been on campus yet. I'd like for you to talk about and juxtapose this with what attracted you to FAMU, when the opportunity came and it presented itself and you applied for the position, what attracted you to FAMU? And then take that to the guys that you brought in. I mean, how did you sell them or talk to them about coming to FAMU? Obviously, given our history, but then many of them had not even been on campus yet. And I mean, obviously, once people get on campus, it's like it's done. But getting them here and the sign before they've even come, talk a little bit about that, if you would.
Well, disrespectfully saying this, I've done it before. Like, I've been to a school that didn't do anything with not even a touch of the resources that we've had, and I've been able to turn it around and beat teams on this level, with one scholarship, with a gym that's 250 people. So I know that I could do it, and it was a job to me where it was like, oh, they have been bad for a long time. I know how to do this. I can get in there, do what we need to do. They have a great brand. Okay, they have the LeBron situation. They have a great arena. It's in the state of Florida, in which I like from a tax perspective. Okay, and so it was a job to me that was one that was very intriguing, with a very robust fan base, that I know cares about athletics, and so that's what really kind of attracted me to the job. It sounds crazy, and the fact that people say you can't win here, please understand, like, the rhetoric on the basketball street is that you can't win there. Now, winning let's understand now, like, winning is not just about players and coaches. There's a lot of other things that has to happen to put you in a position to win games. Okay. We all know that. So, but I will say this: the players. I mean, you guys be the first ones to know this. Our whole class is recruited with no NIL, no official visits. So remember, I recruited like 8 people in the class. I wasn't even getting paid. So people are like, well, why were you doing this if you weren't getting paid? Are you trying to win? And my players came in, they were like, when a lot of the news dropped and stuff that was happening early in July, my players were looking at, you're not getting paid. I'm like, no. Are you trying to win? Next story. Let's work. Like, this is about winning, and it's about sacrificing. And so it's about the players sacrificing, me sacrificing as a coach. It's about our assistants sacrificing, the manager sacrificing, and in due time, everybody else sacrificing to put ourselves in a position to be successful as an entity as a whole. But our guys, I sold them on the relationship between me and them, the confidence I had in their ability and the style of play that I had, the confidence in that I know what I'm doing, and I'll be fully capable to get them, and I know their game. Like, I talk to these guys in practice, and they'll, I told on one drill we had this week, I'll give you this for example, it's like 2 weeks ago. I say, look, on this play here, unless you're a 40% three-point shooter, you turn the screen down and you go back door, you're not taking this screen. Kid takes the screen, boom, I'm pissed. I told you to turn down unless you're 40. I said, you're 38.7. Don't play these games. You made 53 threes at the JUCO. You're 38.7. Now, if you made it, we probably have been okay, but you ain't make it and you ain't do what I told you to do. So just the confidence that those kids have and to understand that I've studied their games. Yeah. I didn't need to bring them on an official visit because I watched every single clip that they had on Synergy. Every single thing they did on Synergy, every single turnover they had, good play, bad play, I watched it, I studied it. With background on their character, background with their coaches, I knew that they could work with me. Because I'm not easy, but I love them, and they know I love them. And it's all about a relationship approach with me. I'm going to be tough on you. I'm going to tell you what it is. If you on some bull, you are on some bull. If I'm on some bull, you better tell me I'm on some bull. I'm trying to get better too. Like, we're all out here trying to get better and grow as a family together. So with this class, it was all a relationship piece. Like Milton, like if we're really being serious, like Milton Matthews, like 112 threes. You know how many players from NAI went like high mid-major? Like he definitely OVC. Easy OVC CAA. So, these are all relationship kids, and that's how I've always built things, and that's what's giving me success, all these years. And so the Lord has blessed me, and so I hope we're able to. I know we're going to be able to do it this year at FAM.
Yes, indeed. I know there's definitely some questions there in the chat room. I'm able to see it. So, I mean, Kelvin, Marcus, you guys want me to kind of run through some of those questions that I'm seeing in the chats? Unless you guys had that question that you wanted to get in.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I do want to ask Coach about NIL and supporting his program.
Sure.
I'm very proud that Rally Nation, we do love athletics and we will support. And if you ask and we know the need, we try to step up. I know that the 220 Club, Vaughn mentioned that you had mentioned about some iPads, and that money was raised the same day through online contributions for those iPads. And I heard Vaughn say that they're coming in today. And then there were some other items. And then I know you have the NIL that's out there. So I just want you to talk about how Rattler Nation can support you and why it's important.
Yeah, so I mean, I was reached out to by some young alumni, that were, from the DMV area and other area, Rattlers that wanted to do something for men's basketball. And so, for me, it was just like, wow, like, it's kind of humbling when you look at it, and this is very common if you look at all of the different universities. You have collectives for certain sports. Some will be for football, basketball, baseball, and just having that ability to like support our players, to put them in a good light, to help them really grow their brands and understand brand awareness. Something I talked about in my press conference. But I mean, you are your own business. I mean, you run your business. So how you look, how you dress, how you act, how you talk, all that matters, for your brand and as you kind of grow. And we all know we're on the biggest HBCU brand there is. I'm from DC, but like, that Howard, it's a huge brand, FAM, crazy brand. And so helping them kind of understand that and kind of move from there, it's been a humbling experience so far. Look forward to, working with everybody in the future. And I was just excited to have the opportunity to have something like this come our way.
Okay. Do you have do you have the address or the a way that folks can follow and then contribute to that collective?
Yeah, we rattle, they're on Instagram. We rattle, great name. You look at some of their product, it's more that new age, new look product. They got some stuff on there that I like that I'll probably wear. I got to make sure I stay in my lane. Like, you're 40, you're close. You can't. Some things you think you can do, you really can't do no more. Your mind goes one way, your body says absolutely not. So, we rattle on Instagram. You'll be able to follow them. They'll have their pages and their resources available for all Rattlers, and I think they have some nice stuff as well. I mean, everybody's making nice merchandise, and that orange and green is always a good look. And so, we definitely appreciate all the support.
All right, Bryan, you can go ahead and add some from the comments.
Yeah, so we got producer Roy is going to flash up some questions, and let's see if we got I know I've seen a few pop up from some different folks, so let's see if we can get to a few questions while we've got a little bit of time left in our segment, Coach. So I'm gonna kind of put it in Roy's hands. Okay, so look, Marcus, come on now. Marcus asking quick. Okay. Anyway. Marcus, you silly. Let's see. Marcus, let's see. Coach, you mentioned the freshman signee during the 220 Club appearance. Who is the freshman player?
Yeah, we didn't sign a freshman, so it might have been something else we were probably talking about. Maybe it was the Jacoby Hendricks, who's the grad transfer. Okay. Only freshman we have on the roster is Malcolm Studi from Episcopal High School in Virginia. His brother actually plays high major. And so, sorry, y'all, I live downtown, so I have these noises that come with downtown living. But yeah, Malcolm Studi, he's our only redshirt. So we have 15 guys on the roster this year. He's also the only underclassman we have. So we have a older team, a more mature team, a team with guys with a lot of chips on their shoulder, just like me. Mine is like about to knock my shoulder off. It's so big.
I know we had a couple of questions regarding the iPads and some of the needs that you had expressed on last week's 220 Club. Any update that you can give on those?
Kelvin, did you say that they were about to have them?
Yeah, they've been ordered. Vaughn said that they already ordered the iPads, and they should be in sometime by the end of the week.
That's perfect. We really appreciate that. I mean, I was 220 clubs an experience, but to get your mind right, you're going in there. Them some real rattlers right there.
Absolutely.
Get your mind right. But they showed me love at the 220 club. I had a great time. I was a little nervous going in there. And I'm never nervous to talk to people. But when you walk in there, you better be on your toes.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. The seasoned rattlers, boy, they don't play. They know all the history. They got the history.
Yeah.
Hey, Bryan, let me jump in real quick. So, Coach, how do you choose the two players? You've got the SWAC media days coming up and everything, and they announced the two players that you chose. Why did you choose the players you chose? And then talk about your schedule a little bit.
Well, Jordan Chapman, he's one of the returning guys that we have. With Jordan, Rod Coffey. Hey, you guys get an update on the returning players? First, let me say this. I appreciate y'all. There was a lot of information out there that was misinformation, and it was going out there for weeks. Y'all put something out there that detailed the information on what the facts were really happening. There's opinions and there's facts. And so I appreciate y'all doing that. You did not have to do that. Everybody would rather rush to make other rash opinions. You got them with the factual information, which I think gave even more validity to your program. And I really do appreciate that, just straight from me. But in terms of, I forgot what I was talking about because you should have said that. You said
how you chose the two players that you chose.
Oh yeah, so Jordan was a returner. I said I'm taking a returner no matter what. So one of the returners had to go. Jordan's a senior. He played the most last year. Started about 45% of the games. And I like Jordan, great kid. Alabama graduating this year. And then the other, I had to take Milton because Milton's just like my kid. Like you're going to coach kids throughout your life, and you're like, that's my kid. I probably have 20 of them. But in the era since I've been to South Florida, he's the only one that's been with me for this long. So I've been in Florida now 4 years. He's been with me for 3 of the years. And I just think he deserves it. He's done so much for me personally, just in how well he's played. There's no way I get this job without him. So, and to me, I owed it for him to come to me. I owed it to him to give him this platform to kind of put him in place.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, I'm glad to have you. Rattler Nation is glad to have you. I'm always a season ticket holder. I'll be at every game, and I'm looking forward to this exciting new brand of basketball, and I know you'll do well. And anything you need, Coach, anytime you want to get something out of Rattler Nation, this platform is available to you.
Okay, we really appreciate that. And Kelvin, please come to practice. So, if anybody wants to come to practice in the Tallahassee area, you can call me. Bryan, you just do help me out with some vetting. So we have anybody.
I got you.
To Bethune-Cookman and nothing like that. Practice is pretty open for us at all times. I love having people come in, having dialogue. When I went to the 220 club, I talked to a gentleman. He came over to practice after, and to see his face, he was like, "Yo," and I'm like, "Try to tell you." Try to tell you what it is. It's different, and so especially if you're not used to it. So, and the last thing that I'm gonna say about just the analytical piece of the game, my main goal at FAM is to win the SWAC, is to win the first four, and is to be the first HBCU, I think, since Norfolk State or Hampton. What was it? It was Hampton, Norfolk State. It was
Norfolk.
Norfolk.
The last one.
And that was, what year was that?
2012.
2012? Yeah, 12.
So 2012 was the HBCU has won a game in the national tournament. And so ultimately, that's what I think that I'm here for, what amongst a ton of other things, of course, off the court. But if you look at the teams that won 116 games, so if you go to Fairleigh Dickinson and you go to Purdue, you go to UMBC and you go to Virginia, then you go to 215, you go St. Peter's and Kentucky, and then you go Princeton and Arizona. Now, the numbers aren't glaring on all those games, but the numbers are always the same. Every one of those 4 teams win a 3-point battle. So you got to defend the 3-point line and you got to make 3-point shots. So to me, that's the end goal. So I don't start with the short-term goal. I start with the end goal in mind. Let's build it from there and let's get there as fast as you all know. We're on supersonic speed right now. So as fast as we possibly can.
All right.
Good deal. Hey, Coach, we appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing you. I believe so. The men's media day, is that next Wednesday or is it next Thursday?
That is next Friday.
Oh, Friday. Okay. So it's okay.
The women are on Thursday. The men are on Friday.
Okay. So that's SWAC Basketball Media Day in Atlanta, Georgia. Friday. I don't know if it's open to the public or not. It'd be kind of cool if it was, but I'm sure it'll be streaming either on the SWAC Digital Network or it'll be on ESPN. And of course, the Black College Sports Network will be there in the house. So I'm sure somebody from our network will be in the house there to talk to you. But we look forward to hearing more from you. And definitely we got to get you back before the first season. So maybe kind of like late October before we start the season officially, we'll bring you back in and kind of get some evaluations on the practices, the full practices, and maybe some things to look forward to in the upcoming games in the non-conference schedule, okay?
I really appreciate it, fellas. Thanks for having me on. Anytime you guys are welcome back to the facility, I would love to put a name with a face with everybody that I have talked to and I haven't met yet. But if you don't know, I'm just a down-to-earth dude. You know, I try to get out there and do the best we can to serve our university and get this thing going fast.
Thank you, Coach.
Well said.
Appreciate
Hey, family, Rattlers, get out there and make sure you hit up Coach Crarey. Coach, give out the social media handles again.
Twitter at Coach Crarey. Don't say nothing crazy. I will block you. I will block you. I will block you. At Coach Crarey on Twitter is really where I'm really active on there. And follow me there. And if you said something crazy about me, I read it already, and we coming. Okay, we're definitely coming. In the words of my great man, we coming.
Amen. I appreciate you, Coach. Coming up right after this break, we got another great coach coming on. Coach Gokhan Yilmax, our volleyball coach, will be on in just a moment. So hang tight with us, and we'll be back in 2. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never, ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
Hey, grab me one too.
Welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Bryan, Kelvin, Marcus, and joining us is our head volleyball coach, fresh off a 4-game winning streak at home
head coach, Coach Gokhan Yilmax. Coach, welcome back to the ONG. How you doing tonight?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's a good start to the season, so we're all happy at the moment. Hopefully, we'll continue that way moving forward.
Yes, sir. Talk a little bit about the start of the season. You know, some of the challenges that went into the opening trip up to Atlanta, and then kind of recalibrating and getting 4 big wins at home.
Yeah, obviously, beginning of the season, we had some issues with practice space. A little bit more amplified this year due to Gaither being out of commission. I can't say that had too much effect on it, but still a big distraction when you start the season. And our prep time for volleyball in Division I is fairly short. After that, having so many players joining the team, it was a little bit of a challenge to put everybody together. We didn't have a great showing against West Florida, which is a quality Division II team, but that taught us a lot of lessons on what we had to work on. We knew the first weekend would be challenging. South Dakota State brought their entire lineup back from last year. They played very well first match. They deserved to beat us that day. We played fine against Indiana State. Good win for us. And Georgia State, very close match. Ended up not making as many plays as they did at the end. But again, these weekends show us a lot of things we need to work on and how we're going to move forward. We came back home and had good practice time with the team, a lot of good video sessions, and after that was able to win all 4 matches in Lawson.
All right, Coach, I appreciate you coming on at the 9:30 slot. I do understand you got to get to practice early in the morning, 6 o'clock practice, I think, but so I thank you for that. So Coach, talk about we had a brief discussion today at the 220 Club, and centered around things that that Rally Nation can do to help contribute to the success of your program in terms of support. So kind of talk about some things that you think that Rally Nation can do to help contribute to your program.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, I was giving a little grief to Kelvin earlier today. My team practices at 6 o'clock since 2018. So I'm used to waking up at 4:25 to get to the gym. And I was telling him I was bummed that he put me on the 9:30 spot. So that's what that's about. Tomorrow morning, we're leaving at 6 to go to Lake Charles. So it's still going to be an early morning, but don't have practice tomorrow.
Okay.
Obviously, we're one of the most successful teams at FAMU. Traditionally, volleyball is expected to win. And our team does not only do well on the court, we graduate all of our players. We are one of the teams that our APR is 1,000. And we believe we represent the university very well out in the community as well. With that being said, the landscape of college athletics change pretty much every week now. And once the things that start with football and then trickle down to basketballs, and then volleyball is right on that realm following those sports. So NIL is becoming an important factor for us, and for us to continue our success and to be able to utilize transfer portal and add more quality freshmen to our team, we can use as much help as possible. And that's one of the areas that I cannot say I'm very knowledgeable. I need to learn more about how this entire thing works, how we can use some of the things we have to our benefit. But what my team did, and I think I mentioned it on your program before, is we went out and did some camps. We did a big middle school tournament. It was a great event for the whole community. With those, we fundraised about $25,000 to $30,000, where we think this can be sustainable for us. But with the help of a different organization that wants to create an NIL, we can really create a healthy situation where our needs would be much smaller to some of the bigger sports, but the players we can get here can really be impact. And our goal here is to win another NCAA tournament match. And we are confident we can continue to be the top program in the SWAC and play for a championship every year. But not only that, is there a next step for us, which we believe we do, because the kids we bring in here are successful and we're able to retain them at the university so far.
Okay. Well, Coach, I think you came to the right platform to try to get this thing started. I'm texting someone as we speak. As Coach Crarey mentioned, there's a few rattlers out there who have done the groundwork in terms of NIL collectors for the university, and so I'm going to put Ashley C on the spot and have her to reach out to you to get with you and kind of put together what your vision is and what you're looking for, and then Rattler Nation.
Ashley and I connected earlier today. She was at the quarterback club meeting.
Okay.
So we exchanged numbers. We're planning on speaking. I'm confident she's going to be a great help in this venture for us.
Absolutely. She just responded. Okay, great deal. That's good to know. All right. Go ahead, Marcus.
And Coach, as far as the season goes, I know we have a lot of, and it seems like a lot of the FAMU teams brought in via the portal some experience, but I also noticed that there are a couple of younger players who also have a few minutes. I guess primarily I'm looking at Mackenzie Taylor, and I believe she's from North Carolina, if I remember correctly. Can you speak a little bit about what she brings and how she's been able to kind of crack some of the lineup early in the season as a true freshman?
Yeah, we have 4 freshmen this year. Mackenzie has been the one playing consistently. She's from Mallard Creek High School out of Charlotte. And I do volleyball camps over the summer at Mallard Creek, and she came to one of my camps. She was one of those kids I thought we would have no shot at, but she ended up coming to FAMU. We're very happy to have her here. She's going to be a great setter for the future as well. Tinons Galmez is from Spain. She joined the team late. She was with her U21 national team representing her country in the European Championship. She plays the libero position, very talented player. She's splitting time with Bree Brown right now in that position. I expect her to continue getting playing time. Also, we have Natalie Johnson transitioning from middle to outside, one of our legacy families. Both parents went to FAMU. They actually met at FAMU and got married, moved to Austin, Texas. Is going to be a fantastic player, doing great in practices, improving. I think she's going to see some playing time moving forward as well. And we have Tamia Coleman, one of our big presence kids at the net. She's one of those closer to 6'3", really SEC level physical kid. She just didn't have the experience. Once she feels more comfortable, I think she's going to be a great addition in the middle position as well. We're very fortunate to have a strong freshman group with this 4.
Thank you, Coach.
Hey, Coach, I'd love for you to talk about, and it's something that we mentioned at the very beginning of the show. It's something that I saw in the match against Georgia State. My guy, AD Drew, was at the matches over the weekend, and he noticed this. But you got a what can we call it? A 3-headed monster in Jada, Brooklyn, and Brooklyn. And it seems like all 3 of them stay on the court, and they get a lot of time, and they contribute to a lot of points. Talk a little bit about how you utilize those 3 players, because it really seems like we have something really special with those 3 ladies, and what you've been able to do with them over the start of the season.
Yeah, I think all 3 are extremely talented players. It speaks to our recruiting, and they all want to win a championship. So we're lucky to be able to have all 3 of them on the same team. But not only them, we have several other offensive weapons. Our blocking is completely different than what we had in the past. We are one of the best blocking teams right now in our conference as well. I think that's going to make a huge difference also. I think it was the Jacksonville game set 3. we ended up having a 68% hitting percentage. And just to give you an idea, we had 0 errors, 15 kills out of 18 attempts, I believe. If you hit 25% in volleyball, if your hitting efficiency, offensive efficiency is 25%, you're doing a good job. 68 is out of this world. It's something, of course, unsustainable, but we think we can collect more of those sets and put those strings of offensive options on the court. And we still have some players that will earn playing time. Ione Sanford will be on the court. She had some family issues and she got sick. She's our highest jumper on the team. I think she's going to contribute a lot. And our middles are doing a very good job between Kalia Todd, Isis Williams, and Farah Farouk, who's a sophomore, is playing at a high rate there as well.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
Coach, talk about the upcoming tournament. I know the weather, has kind of been, with a hurricane kind of in that area. Has that impacted your travel as of right now? Is everything still a go? And then if it is, kind of talk about the teams you're playing and what you expect this weekend.
Yeah, we've been monitoring this storm for the last week. It looked like it was going to go to Baytown, Houston area. It keeps veering east. Today it was hitting Baton Rouge and New Orleans area. So it missed Lake Charles. I've been in contact with both coaches. We are going to play at Lake Charles and also in New Orleans as well. And both coaches are good friends. We've been in communication. There's no issues on Lake Charles, and the entire storm activity should be moving past Interstate 10 by the time we leave tomorrow morning. The campuses were closed. McNeese was closed. Louisiana Lafayette was closed. New Orleans was closed. It's more cautionary than anything else. I think New Orleans is going to get hit just a little bit more, but it's just looking like 30 to 32 mile winds. Some, downpour and things that we're used to in Florida. So none of us foresee any issues. The only change we ended up having is our first match will be against Incarnate Word instead of McNeese. So those two matches are swapping. I think Josh already fixed it on the website, but we play Incarnate Word on Friday, which looks like a very strong team. It might be one of the best teams we played this year. They have very good blocking options, especially in the middle. Their outsides are very good. They have a setter that does a bunch of things for them, from hitting to being a very good server to being one of their best defensive players and very good setter as well. It's going to be a fun match to play. But I also don't think they played a team in our caliber also. So I think it's going to be a very good matchup. McNeese is always one of the stronger teams in their conference. I think it's going to be good competition in their gym as well. This is one of our home and away weekends. We're going to McNeese this year. They're going to be coming to us next year. So that's the purpose of this trip. And we already played New Orleans. I think it's going to be one of those teams that's a little inexperienced right now. They're going to get better in time. So I'm sure it's going to be more competitive this time around. And that's the match on Sunday on the way back from Lake Charles. So hopefully nothing changed from tonight to tomorrow morning, but we're not expecting any issues that would put us in any danger or anything like that.
Okay. All right. Good deal.
Marcus, you got any last questions there for Coach?
No, I don't have anything else.
Okay. Well, I know, Coach, you got an early alarm, and again, we appreciate you finding time late in the evening. We promise next time you come on, we promise we won't put you in the 9:30 slot, Coach. We'll make sure we get you in hour one for sure. We blame Kelvin on this one.
Yeah, I'm glad we have you on the record with that. So we're not in this situation again. And I heard Kelvin made a donation that I didn't get the check in the quarterback club meeting. So Kelvin, I'm gonna look for that tomorrow.
Hey, my donation went to the $1 million campaign, so I think that's gonna cover everybody.
Oh, so you donated $1 million. I like that.
I wish. I did my part.
I was gonna say, Kelvin, holding out over there. See, been holding out. Well, Coach, hey, safe travels to you and the team. And I was gonna ask about. Well, I'll ask my other questions later. Next time you come on, I'll ask my questions. Other question I had. I don't want to keep you, Coach. Thank you for your time this evening, and good luck to the team this weekend. And we look forward to, I think, hopefully we'll get a chance to watch them. Hopefully they're streaming them online or ESPN Plus maybe. And we'll get a chance to watch. And but looking forward to it. So sleep well, Coach. Have a great trip. Safe travels. And we'll talk to you again soon, okay?
Yeah, we appreciate you all covering volleyball. We really enjoy hearing from you, watching, seeing the tweets. I want you to know that it's really appreciated. Thank you.
Hey, as Coach Washington said, the get our rings back campaign is on. So I mean, that's what she called it, and that's the challenge. Get our rings back. That's what you guys are doing. So we love it.
We are working hard. Thank you.
All right, take care, Coach.
Good night.
All right, yes, sir. Coach Gokhan, Yilmax, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to hit him up. Did our producer? Where's our producer? Did our producer fall asleep? There he is. Okay, there we go. I messed up. So obviously, See, my bad.
Hey, hey, we just had cameos out of nowhere, you know.
That's what happens. See, when I'm not running the ship anymore. You know, all kinds of stuff is happening, man. I don't have to move locations to another parking lot. But I feel like I'm in a hurricane season where the no Wi-Fi, no internet. I'm just moving around from parking lot to parking lot. So okay, obviously, fellas, we have not talked about the football game at all. I don't really know if there is much worth talking about, but I think we ought to mention something regarding this game. So I thought we just kind of briefly go around the horn. So, okay, Marcus. So briefly go around the horn with any comments regarding what we saw on Saturday. We'll start Kelvin and then Marcus go.
Well, for me, moving forward, this football season and this team is about going from effort to execution. So I think the effort has been fine, been great. We competed, as Coach Carter said today at the 220 Club. We had some opportunities where we were on a 1 yard line. We ended up getting a penalty after a timeout. We had some busted coverages early that put us behind the 8 ball, but we were only down 25-6, even with all that at the half. So obviously we have some talent, and every game here on out, to include the Detroit game coming up, is a winnable game for this team. However, the question is the execution going to allow us to reach our full potential? That's the part that remains to be seen. I know Coach talked about ball security. We had some fumbles. We had some interceptions, and so we got this open week. We get a chance to get a little, any little knickknacks. We get the chance to rest that. We were able to do some fundamentals. Then now the coach is out recruiting. But as far as the UM game, the competition was good. The field goal kicking was excellent, and but we got some challenges in terms of our defense, specifically. The tackling has to be better, and then from a scheme standpoint, the 10 yards off the receivers most of the time, I think that takes away some of the aggressiveness from the players. And we should have good enough athletes. We got a bunch of Florida athletes where we can press and do some man from time to time. And if we can't get pressure with 4, we're gonna have to, send some people, send some backers, some. And we did a little bit of that, but I think moving forward, we'll see if we need to do a little bit more of that.
Marcus.
Oh, okay. Well, I did, in between studying, did kind of had a game on in the background. So I watched the first half, and we were very competitive. I was a little disappointed. It seemed like a little miscommunication, or I don't know if it could be attributed to I don't know, lack of playing time together in terms of how many transfers we brought in. I don't know to what degree that would have an impact. I think we're still a work in progress in terms of gelling. You know, because it seems like a lot of the things that were gaps that we've noticed in the first 3 games were things in theory, or I guess that if this happened to be the 2023 team may or may not have happened just based on the experience of the players of playing together and knowing where to be. So it's still a period of growth for all the players gelling and coming together. At least that's the way it appears to me. Going into the Miami game, I wasn't expecting an upset or anything of that nature, but the team played with heart, played with effort. And there were some mistakes made, and there's a clear, in this type of game, there's typically a clear differential in terms of their overall, I want to say program per se, in terms of perhaps the players, but also the external investment that allows the players and the coaches to do what they can do. But so I wasn't expecting a miracle upset, but I'm proud of the effort. I think in terms of going forward, we thought that, I guess preseason the defense was going to carry us, and now it seems like it is doing pretty well, but not as what we would have expected. It may have been a high expectations to follow up and come back with the number 2 defense coming into this year with so many players in transition. But the offense, especially Danny Richardson, has been a pleasant surprise, and I think it will continue to blossom. So it may flip the script from previous years where the offense may be carrying us till the defense catches up, depending on how things gel and the players that are the lineups that the coaches and the players that fulfill the 2 deep roster as they start to figure that out. We also got to work on the turnovers because I think we have 6 on the year,
and we've not created any.
Yes, so we're at -6 or minus some number in terms of turnover ratio, with none haven't been received on our end. So that's got to turn around quickly. And we've had a myriad of fumbles, I guess, the first 2 games, and then we had 2 or 3 interceptions against Miami, and I know the one was, well, I guess all of them were bad. I didn't see the 2 from Junior because I had to log off by then, but the one by Daniel Richardson on the first drive or second drive really set things up. But we're going to have to get that turned around. So it seems like we've made progress in terms of cutting back on some of the penalties. I think there was one penalty during the Miami game that I thought was a little egregious. That we shouldn't have gotten that one. We should have had a little bit cooler head. Either it was Miami or South Carolina State. I know South Carolina State, we had the unsportsmanlike on the kickoff return. But we're doing better on penalties, but now we're not getting the turnovers. So we got to make sure that we're both trending in a positive direction for both of those areas. That would clean up some of the things that, even though we had a championship season, some things that were some items of development and improvement.
One of the biggest things I hear from Rattler Nation is how do we evaluate this game? And it really is hard to stomach a game where you see flashes of good execution and you have a belief that it should be a little bit closer than what it is. I mean, when you have a less than 1% chance of winning, and the point spread is 48.5. I mean, the numbers say what they are, but we have a higher expectation, and I'm sure the coaches and players do as well. And the old phrase, everybody has a plan when they go in the ring until they get hit in the mouth, right? And I guess so. The hard part I constantly hear from people is, the whole reason of why we play these games. And yes, we made a nice chunk of change making and playing this game. And I know, Kelvin, you hate playing these games. You said it, been very adamant. And I'm even thinking as I'm saying this that the phrase "all money ain't good money" is running through my head right now, because but as I say that, I turn to what I always ask when people look at my like a top 10 poll or top 5 poll, and we say, "Oh well, why is so and so in that rankings?" I always come back to, well, who do we take out, right? Who do I replace them with? So I ask this: if we don't take this game and don't make this kind of money, how do we make up for this kind of funds? See, how do we make up for these funds? Because the way the college landscape is right now, these opportunities to earn nearly $750,000, or in some places, if you're lucky enough to get $1 million, they don't come around often. They don't come around. They don't come to every school. So what are we going to do, Rattler Nation? What is our next athletic director going to do to supplement or make up for these kind of games? You don't want, Rattler Nation doesn't want to go on a, well, let me rephrase. Maybe it's not Rattler Nation, but some people don't want to go on a bowl game in South Florida because you'd rather have more home games in Tallahassee. But with that said, you're not making more money at home than you are at some neutral site game. So if we're not going to play a game against a Power 5 that's willing to pay $750,000 to $1 million, how are we going to make up for that money? So that's the biggest challenge going forward, I feel, when I think about these games. And so we have a bye week, and we have Troy upcoming. Now, I don't know, anybody know what is Troy paying us to come up there?
I believe it's like $325 at the most, somewhere around there.
Sounds about standard, right? Sounds about standard for them, because they're in the Sun Belt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sounds about right for a Sun Belt team, right? But this is a game that we all have said of a game, that FBS game that is likely that we have a shot at winning. This one is it, because we're coming off a bye. We had 3 games, which we all expected to go 2-1. Yes, we all did. Us right here, this whole panel and Rattler Nation expected to go 2-1. And anybody that's sitting there and tell you that they didn't think we would go 2-1, they not a FAMU football fan, FAMU Athletics fan, or don't know jack squat about FAMU football. Okay, let's keep it real. So now we go into this game with Troy, and now our eyes are clearly set on this team, this coaching staff, and say, all right, we got to see better. We got to see the plus minus on the turnover ratio be better. We got to see better execution from the offense. We got to see the defensive line get some pressure on the quarterback. We want to see the DBs press up a little bit more. So that's what I'm looking at. That's what I think a lot of Rattlers are going to be looking at over the course of the next 10 days before we get ready to head to Troy. And what we do the rest of the season will all come off of that game, because if we beat Troy, if we're competitive, let's just say it goes to the 4th quarter, we have a lead, and whatever happens, and say we come up short, but we played like, man, we could have, should have won that game, but the other team just made one more play than us. I think everybody that listens and watches our show will feel good about going into the rest of the SWAC season.
Absolutely.
If that doesn't happen, though, well, let's not talk about things that we don't want to see happen. How about that?
Right. Hey, Bryan, real quick to your point about playing these money games, and I'll be brief on this. Is that folks made the argument about getting tape for NFL teams. When we make decisions about athletic administration type things in these kind of contracts, we have to make it based on best business practice, not the exceptions to the rule. FAMU hasn't had a player drafted in some time. We got 5 on squads, some form or another currently, but none of them were drafted. And we've been playing these money beat down games for a long time. So that the argument about it gives tape, that's an exception. That's not a good business practice in terms of for us, in terms of playing these games. In terms of generating revenue, a Troy game makes sense, and that also can give you a video tape against D1 talent. So I would much rather see a game like that if you're gonna play a FBS game, FIU, FAU, those type games that are winnable. Remember, Thune beat one of those schools a couple of years back. And then I would much rather see us play in neutral site classics if where you getting the 500 guarantee plus expenses. It works out to be the same thing almost, because the 700 that we get from Miami, you got to take the expenses of travel. We charter the flight, food per diem, all that kind of stuff. So it kind of brings you back to that $500,000 number, and that was the second highest guarantee of any FBS versus FCS matchup. That's the other part. That's on the high end. Again, that was the exception. That contract is the exception. Most of the time, when you play a lot of these beatdown games, who ain't FAMU, we've been playing them so long, and because of our fan base, teams willing to negotiate and give us a little more. But again, that's kind of exception. And then none of the money goes back to the football program to make them better. So we play these games, and we keep playing these games, and we don't do anything in terms of helping the program that we putting in harm's way. So that's I don't like these games. I don't like seeing those lopsided scores. And as a fan, I'm and a competitor. I want to say this, that, and the other, but at the end of the day, the reality is they have University of Miami has a $75 million football budget. They have another $20 million in NIL. So it's not a fair fight. That's the reality. Our kids gonna compete, our coaches gonna coach. They do the best they can, but that's a hell of a lot to go against and try to be competitive against. And so, I just think there's other ways, neutral site classics, more corporate sponsorship, naming rights, things that our administration and our university need to be doing. And so that we don't have to play these blood games.
I love that. Blood games. That's what we're going to start calling these. Instead of calling them money games, we'll just start calling these blood games. Yeah, I love that. Producer Roy has a flyer that he wants to flash up on the screen to let everybody know. So let's kind of see what this flyer looks like that Producer Roy has. All right. So coming up next week, next Wednesday, providing answers to the questions. And how do we increase athletic revenue? Be a special BCSN Game Time panel guest featuring Colonel Greg Clark, AD Wheeler Brown, Robert Vowles, former commissioner of the, I believe he was the former commissioner of the SIC, and special guest Leon Carey, former commissioner of the CIAA. All that will appear next Wednesday, 9 o'clock on the BCSN Game Time show. So, it'll kind of run simulcast to our show. So obviously, you can catch both streams, or obviously you can come back and catch the second half of our show after you jump over to that stream. So that'll be a great opportunity to do that. Did I get all that right, Producer Roy?
Most of it. Robert Vowles was actually the commissioner of both the SWAC and the SIAC before he was pulled back into the NCAA. And of course, we all know Leon Carey was the commissioner of the CIAA that brought that to Charlotte and turned it into the multi-million-dollar event that it is, be hosted by myself and Dr. Kenyatta Cavill. And of course, we all know Greg Clark, who knows how to raise money. Did that a lot for Florida A&M University. He's now at Alabama State doing some things. But this was a discussion. Apparently, I sparked the conversation with this same topic because we have to see these check games. But the answer is with us and the fan base, and there's simple things that we can do that can stop our teams from having to do this. And I was actually referring to it in both football and men's basketball, and I guess women's basketball as well is probably the same type of situation. So we will have, we're Rattlers. So when I make a comment, I don't make a comment just to complain. We come in with some solutions, and we'll be talking about it and having a real discussion. Folks will be able to chime in. We'll have someone taking questions from the viewers and listeners. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So definitely it will be a quality program worth watching. And again, it'll run and simulcast. Obviously, our show is when it is. And so, those of you, if you get a chance, I want to encourage you always to make sure you listen to all of the shows that appear on the Black College Sports Network via Facebook, YouTube, and X at MyBCSN1. And at MyJBN Online is the YouTube channel. And want to encourage, be looking out for that. Make sure to share that announcement, and you'll see more info coming out. So go ahead and share that with the rest of the HBCU friends, and not only just our family, but the HBCU family as well. I saw that as we get ready to close the show here, I did see that the women's basketball schedule got released on FAMUathletics.com. So make sure you're following the ONG StrikeZone, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Go check out FAMU Athletics, and you can see the women's basketball schedule. We'll go ahead and make a call to Coach Gordon, and maybe we'll have Coach Gordon on the show next week, and she can get in here and kind of talk to us before she makes her debut on the SWAC Women's Basketball Media Day, which is next Thursday in Atlanta, and next Friday is when the men will meet in Atlanta, Georgia. So, well, Rattler Nation, that's going to do it for tonight's show. We want to thank Kevin Elliott for joining us. Sorry I missed out on that, but Marcus and Kelvin, you guys did a great job on the conversation with Kevin after my signal kind of crashed. And we thank Coach Crarey for coming in, and we thank Coach Gokhan for coming in as well, and wish our Lady Rattlers good luck and safe travels out into Louisiana for this weekend on the road. Enjoy the bye week, Rattlers, and let's watch some other SWAC teams panic and chew on fingernails and pull out bottles out the liquor cabinet as they try to figure out why their team is losing the way they're losing. We just sit back and kind of just chuckle, but don't go in too hard on folks. Don't go in too hard, because then people want to start flashing those scoreboards up and all that stuff. It's not even worth it. So just be chill, watch the chaos, and you guys be well and be safe this weekend. Any final words or anything, Marcus and Kelvin, before we sign off?
Rattlers, just rest up, for the football team, and give support for the volleyball team and cross country.
That's right. They started this weekend. Yeah, they started this weekend too, weather permitting. The only thing I'll say is, we got these NILs started. We're going to have a player, and we're going to have Eli Patrick back next week also. So we want to make sure we got to support these programs. We have I'm gonna keep saying this. We have championship programs. In order to maintain, then go to even a higher level, we have to contribute and support. And also, there was a discussion about playing D2 games. I agree. We need to set up our football schedule so that we can, if for some reason we falter at one game in the SWAC, that we have an opportunity to get into the FCS playoffs. People always forget that potential scenario. So, I think our out of conference games should be, a G group of four, a group of, what do they call it? Whatever they call it now, team, and then a neutral site against the HBCU FCS program, and then a home and home probably with another PWI, another FCS program. Mm-hmm. And that allows us. I think peer review does a great job of their scheduling with because that's the kind of games they kind of schedule. Both the Texas schools, actually, they'll play like a Rice out of conference as a FES. Then they'll play like a McNeese or in Carnot Word sometimes, something like that. And so I think that's a good formula for FAMU in terms of getting the best of both worlds, both good tape video for the players, regional friendly, where you can make some decent money, but you don't embarrass yourself or your program against teams that you just got way too many more resources. And then, like I say, it gives a little bit more window of failure if we drop a swag game and we still have 9-10 wins at the end of the season. We still have something to play for at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. I think we got a good candidate, 2 candidates up the road in Georgia, if we're so inclined.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's
Mercer and University of West Georgia that's just transitioned up to FCS.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't Coach Cozy cut his teeth as a coach at West Georgia?
Yes, he did. Yes.
Look at Marcus putting the connecting dots there. Man, that's what you do. All right. Hey, I know I had a final plug, but I'll just say hit the thumbs up and the like button on the way out the door if you haven't done so already. We thank you and appreciate you. You can always drop a little something in the collection plate as well on the way out the door. If you want to leave something in the super chat, if you're watching on Mike JBN online, you can do that. Or you can always donate Cash App, $ Mike JBN, my BCSN, and go make sure you become a part of not only the Rattler Boosters, FAMU RattlerBoosters.com, but how about the Fang Exchange, FangExchange.com, the first FAMU NIL collective serving all FAMU athletes. And of course, you can always support the basketball NIL collective. We Rattle is the collective. You can find it on Instagram. Just search We Rattle on IG, and you can find out a little bit more about the basketball exclusive NIL collective group that is supporting Coach Crarey and the men's basketball program. So all of those great initiatives and programs, find one to be a part of. Don't want to dismiss the 220 Club as well. And shout out to Vaughn and all the seasoned Rattlers who watch the show. Shout out to the 220 Club. And we thank you for watching the show tonight. For Marcus Green and Kelvin Rozier, producer Roy for filling in for me, and somewhere in a 7-Eleven parking lot in Orlando, Florida, I'm Bryan Fulford. Wishing you all a good night. Be safe, be well, and I'll holler. Peace out, Rattlers.
Thank you.